Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
Hello, and welcome.
Hey, good evening. Excited to be here.
Yes, me too. Love our Tuesday evenings. Every Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock, being here on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. We're live on all the platforms. I love that our folks get to join us, and whether they're watching live or they're watching the replay, they're jumping on to get to know a little bit more about all things money matters with our coach, with our amazing coach, our financial coach, Bernard Alerte. Thank you for being here with us and bringing us a brand new topic. How's it going?
Doing great. Exciting. We had a great topic. At least I'm solo today, right? I miss my wife, man. I was like, you going to be here? Like, no, I don't want to be here. So like, okay, I'll do it by myself. Yeah, so we had a great series talking about marriage and money past 3-4 weeks, which was very, especially last one. I think got a lot of views. The last one, a lot of people got,
yes,
which is very, very good. We wanted to have a different topic. Something that that's so important that people need to be aware of, right? That us in the financial field, we're somewhat aware of it, but I think a lot of people need to be aware. And this is the reason we do this. This is the reason we do a lot of podcasts and we give a lot of information, which is a great topic called the wall of wealth.
Ooh, right? Okay, I got my paper. The wall of wealth. Let's do this. Let's take notes.
Exactly. And people say, what does that mean? A wall of wealth? It's kind of weird, right? Here's what the wall says. Just to let you guys know, back in the 1980s, by 1970s, 1980s, this is when retirement started kind of like 401ks, IRAs started getting steam, and those financial products started being out there, right? And people started taking advantage of it. A lot of people started working, putting a little bit of money, started taking advantage, put money into their retirement. Now, what that has done over the years, that's past almost 35, 40 years, it caused a wall of wealth. Here's what we mean. Right now, they estimate there's about $90 trillion, Liz, $90 trillion being passed on from one generation to another. Getting ready to pass on $90 trillion. Not with a B, with a T. Passed 90 trillion pounds from one generation to another because of depreciation of so many assets like real estate, like investing and things like that. So even though a lot of people are way behind, like we talked about where they should be, but there's a major transfer of wealth that's going to be passed from one generation to another, especially with baby boomers, right? Like some of our parents or people that might be in their 60s, 70s right now. And it's crazy. It's a lot, and it's growing. With next 10 years, that's what they estimate what's going to happen. But the challenge is a lot of people are not ready for that. It's a major challenge. And that's just why we want to bring that awareness. This is why it's so important for us to give people have the education, right? So if you look at the next slide, right? That talks about that. It's kind of small, right? So I need my glasses to read. But here's what it tells you, especially in Canada, right, North America. There's a lot of, for example, wealth being transferred, right? And here's what it says. And Canada's undoing the significant wealth transfer that's happening, right? Expect to change hands, right? And if you look at the second one, right? When it comes to investing in millennials, right, and Gen Zs, right? Millennials and Gen Z investors tend to be less confident with traditional assets like stocks and bonds. So they're not really aware of that. They don't really understand it that much, which is very, very challenging, right? If you look on the top, they talk about over 4.5 billion people throughout the world today financially illiterate. 4.5 billion people don't understand how money works, which is very, very sad, right? And that people need to know, right? And if you look the last on the bottom, on the top right, the second part, right? When it comes to managing a large inheritance, most people say they don't feel ready to handle it on their own.
Mm.
So right now, there's going to be a lot of wealth transfer passed on. A lot of people feel they're not ready for it.
Then I don't
They,
know what to do with it.
they don't know what to do with it. They have no idea, right, what to do with it, which is so important, right? And this said 6 in 10 American parents, right, say their children do not value financial responsibility as they do.
That we see.
6 in
That's true.
10 parents, which is true. So what's happening right now, parents are working very, very hard to build assets, right? Not only for them to be able to retire, but hopefully to pass on from generation. The 6 and 10 are not even ready to deal with that. They're not ready. For most people, if a certain lump sum dropped in their lap, they would blow. And this is why, listen, this is why if you look at one of the slides says some inheritance could also go to waste. A 20-year study in US found that 70% of wealthy families lost their wealth by the second generation.
Wow. Say that again.
70%.
Mm-hmm.
70% of wealthy families lost their wealth by the second generation, 90% by the third.
Wild.
And this is why it is so important to have financial education out there. This is why it's crucial to have that. People need to understand how money works. You not only that we need to get educated how money works, invest a lot of time being educated, but also because some of us folks, our parents are older. They just go away. Well, we have parents. Some of us, maybe you have parents that are not alive. I mean, unfortunately, not alive, but we have parents that are still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them may have leave us something. But what happens? A lot of us are not even ready. So even us, I think we're Gen X, something like that. We're Gen X, like within 35 to like 55. That we're like Gen X, right? This is where we are. But we're not even ready to deal with that. We don't even know what to do with it, unfortunately, right? Which is crazy. And this is why I took my daughter to she started high school, right? She started high school, a young one, started high school today. And I took her I took her for orientation to everything they talked about. And one thing they talked about, which I think was very good, is financial literacy. They have a little thing they want people to do that. And I want to get out, and I told her you need to learn about that. Like, yeah, why that? Like you need to do it. Trust me, you need to do it. Yes. And I personally want to take part of that. I want to personally be more involved with that and maybe go to school and find out what we can to contribute towards that. We can come in, do a quick little course, a quick little 5-10 minutes, just to let kids know how important. Because that to me, that's when I saw that was very scary. That the amount of wealth trend that's lost from generation to generation, right? Like the last 40% of boomers and 65% of Gen Xers do not have a will, don't have a will. And we've had we talked a lot about that past couple of apps. That's high important to have that, and they don't have one, and which is sad. So all that means is a lot of the wealth that's going to be passed down is going to be tied up in probate, where the government is going to be taxing and taking a lot of that money. So this is so important that while we do, you cannot avoid it. We cannot just ignore it anymore, because there's and it's growing. The wealth is growing. Yeah, right. And the challenge with that is, see, a lot of the wealthy, they have sometimes advisors to deal with that, so they're able to have attorneys and lawyers to help them. But the challenge is us is in the middle class. This is where there's still wealth being transferred, middle class, right? But guess what happened? And we're not ready for it. A lot of them not ready for it, because we have not sat down with an advisor yet. Not only that, we have not. It's just not important for you, but you need to have your kids involved with that. If you're a parent and if you have kids, your kids need to get educated with it, educated. So, and when I saw it, I was like, man, we have to. And we talk to our kids a lot about money, but we have life, we have things we leave for our kids, and I'm like, oh my gosh, are they ready for this? And real estate, there's things like, and I had to question myself. Have we done a good enough job educating them to show them the value of it, how to scale to when that blessing comes, to make sure they can multiply? It should not stop at one generation. It should go from one generation to another. That means our grandkids should be able to prosper from what we did. It should not just stop at once. See, like the Bible talks about Proverbs 13, a good man leaves his house for his children's children. That means we're supposed to make sure that our kids and our grandkids are in a better position than us. That means we have to take the time to educate. So if you have adult children, you have to talk to them about that. You can't just say, well, no, because what you're working with, you're gonna pass on, and they're not gonna have the right advice. It's gonna go two ways.
Yeah.
And I see it happen time and time again.
Wow.
Right? This is why, and this is not a coincidence where 95% of people that win, and that's something that's not talked about, advertised, but 95% of people that win the lottery are in a worse position than they were before they got it. They got the thing.
Yes.
So it's not the money, because the mindset, the education.
It is the education. It is it. We just got to talk to our kids, get them to listen. My husband's like, how do we get them to listen? So true. In getting them educated on the wealth that's waiting for them so that they can steward that properly. Yeah. Jen says I need to talk to myself too about it.
Exactly. We need to, I mean, the way we talk, sometimes it's very hard. They won't listen to you sometimes, but if you have someone else, a third party, sometimes that makes a big difference, right? It's like you ever walk with your kids, right? And and let's say if you had kids, sometimes like you walk in the supermarket when your kids are young, hey, stop doing that, right? And they don't listen to you, they keep doing it. All of a sudden, a stranger looks at, hey, stop doing that, listen to your mom. And then you see him stop, right? He freeze because it's just a different voice that makes a huge difference.
Yes.
Right? I mean, huge difference. But this is why it's so important. And this is why, if you look at the next slide, what we're going to talk a little bit about the next slide is the challenge that's happening right now is a lot of people. This is why I always talk. You want to make sure that you deal with someone. See, there's a lot of people who call themselves advisors out there. There's a lot of people that, for example, they may just have a life insurance license, or they have some kind of gimmick, some crypto thing, and they call themselves advisors and coaches. No, you need someone, again, an advisor is someone that has a life insurance and an investment license. A life insurance and an investment license. Okay. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make. You do, well, this is my advice. Like, oh, it's my family. Are they invest? No, they just, so what happens? Because this is why we have to be very careful, because there's a lot of people that have don't have the best intention or lack of education, right? Or have the wrong motivation. I might get the wealth that's supposed to be put in investment or put in a life insurance product. And unfortunately, where it's gonna hurt. It's gonna make them a lot of money, but it's gonna devastate your family in the process. But this is a challenge that's happening right now, right? Especially in the financial. And listen, I've been in the field with 26, 27, but this is what's happening, right? In Canada and United States, now what's happening behind the scenes, right, is average advisor is about 55 years old. The challenge with that is average advisors. There's a lot of people going into the life insurance field. Yes, it is, but average advisor is 55 years old now, right? That's more than 35. And this said more than 35% of plan to retire next 10 years. So think about it. I want you to think about it. There's a mountain of money is going to get transferred from one generation to another, even more than ever. Then most of them, the advisors are getting ready to retire next 10 years, right? And the market is not really growing that much. That means tens of thousands of advisors exiting. That means trillions of dollars will be left up for grabs.
I love it. It's called the silver tsunami. Wow. Yes, aging advisors are leaving. They're leaving us, and we need others to come.
We need new. This is why it's so important. That's why I always encourage us. I'm always looking a way to develop new age. I'm especially young, and that's so important because there's a vast amount of wealth that's going to be transferred. No one's going to be able to guide people.
Yeah.
But there's huge opportunity for someone that's wanting to get a license, learn the field, and that's huge opportunity for it because it's going to be a major challenge, and it's scary. To me, it scares me because what's happening is I see it's going to be your kids and your great. I mean, it's going to be challenging unless someone comes out. We need to grow that field. That's so important, right? And like 40% of us would transition. And what happens is a lot of them also at the same time, advisors are catering to people that have a big net worth. And we see that happening. So right now, a lot of advisors just say, we're not going to sit down with someone that may have 300,000, 200,000, 100,000, 300,000. They have to have 500, 750,000 or more,
Wow.
which is a small percentage. There's a lot more people that may have 100,000, 200, 300, 500, or even less, less than 100,000, and they're going to be very, very neglected
Wow.
during that field. And this is why there's people that do life insurance product. They go after that market, and it's a tragedy. It's tragedy. So right now a lot of people are gonna be orphaned, and a lot of firms out there, they say, you know what, we can't deal with someone that has 100, 200, 300. We're only gonna deal with people that have $1 million or more, 750, 100 more. So that's gonna cause a vacuum of major gap in that field,
Yeah.
right? And this
Yeah.
is why it's so important. So there's a great opportunity out there also for people that be able to receive them. So if somebody, I always encourage, if someone get in the financial field right now, because there's going to be a lot of work. See, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few.
Yes, so
Right?
true.
Harvest is plenty, laborers are few. So this is
That's
why
a
it's so
perfect,
important.
perfect
Yeah,
verse for that.
absolutely.
Now, it's true, because even some people, like Jen saying here, that her first financial planner and the second one left her and didn't even return her calls. She's like, because there are people that just they started and they don't keep doing it. But
Yeah.
you got to stick to it, because there is a wealth coming
Huge
in,
opportunity. Yeah,
and huge opportunity. And I don't know about you, but I don't want my kids learning everything online.
they can't. You don't know you don't even get it. What's that credential? Who you getting it from?
Yeah, you don't know who you're getting it from. You don't know what to believe. And what's really sad is that there's a lot of people that are so gullible. They believe everything they hear online.
Yes.
Why are we doing that? Especially when it has to do with our money that we work so hard to
Absolutely.
earn.
You don't know how many calls I get, like, oh my gosh, this person says I should take a home equity and pay all my bills, home equity. And I'm like, what? I'm like, HELOC and pay all my bills. I'm like, where'd you get that from? And it's like, and it's crazy. But listen, like I said, the beginning episode we talked about is, just because someone has a platform to talk about something doesn't give him the authority to talk about it.
Yes.
Right. And it's so important to have that. So this is why it's very crucial right now we need more people in that field. We need more people that have the right intentions, that are willing to be able to do it. And even more in women. This is why the women, if you look at the next slide, the last slide, we're going to talk about women and wealth. One of the fastest growing segment is women, right? He's white. This said by 2030, women will control 2/3 of personal wealth in US and Canada.
Wow.
By 2030. And this is why it's so important. So by 2030, we could buy almost 30 trillion to 34 trillion of investable assets. Right? So think, why is that? Because there's longer life expectancies.
Yep.
Women, let's just call what it is. Women are living men. That's just a fact, right? And there's longer life expectancy, so they have money has to last longer. Business ownership is rising. A lot of women, one of the fastest growing demographic and owning businesses are women. Women consume most business ownerships. That's been, especially the past couple of years, been women-owned businesses growing.
True.
Right? Inheritance from spouses and parents, that's also causing that to happen. And high earning power across generation. Right? And this is why I would love, we had the episode about women, right? Women in finance, the episode. We're gonna do more of those, because that's so important, because a lot of women say they feel ignored and underserved by their current advisor. This is why, when they feel it's true, because here's what happens, unfortunately, and that happens a lot. When I see a lot of advisors, when they sit down, let's say with a couple, they mostly talk to the men, not talk to, and I'm like, that is, and I felt like that is one of the dumbest thing you could do, because here's what happens to a lot of advisors. You talk to the men mostly about that, right? And then, for example, but you did not build a relationship. You did not listen to the spouse. You did not customize a plan that also benefits the spouse and have him involved in the process. So guess what happens? You didn't connect with them. So what happens is when something happens to the husband, right, and there's the assets are they're not gonna go to you. They're gonna go to somebody else.
Correct.
They're
So
not, 'cause
true.
why? You did not build a relationship with you. You need to cater, and advisors have to change how they communicate and get women involved with. So it's not just a market, it's a market gap that's happening. So and that's great. Now, not only is great opportunity for us, maybe the male advisors, to change their mindset, how they communicate, but also it's so important for women to get in. There's a great opportunity to get in the market because a woman will trust more a woman's perspective because they can understand more than anything else. So there's huge opportunities for women to get licensed, and I feel this is not gonna be like we talked about. The financial been mostly male dominated field, but it's not going to be just a male dominated field. Women need to more get involved because you're so important in the wealth creation and the wealth transfer, and being able to facilitate that, to guide that, to preserve that is just going to be incredible, right? And this is why it's so important. Advisor learn how to communicate with not just two women will dominate the next era.
I was waiting for you to read that line because that line is like right in your face, and it is so true. It's not about how you communicate with, not just to, you got to communicate with us, not just to us.
Exactly, and the right way, and that's so important to do that. But that's why we encourage women to get in the field to be able to. So this wall of wealth is not just, it's already here. It's not, it's coming, it's already here. It's already happening. It's already happening right now. There's a lot of wealth. It's happening right now, and it's gonna get bigger and bigger. So number one is education needs to happen from the baby boomers. You need to talk to your kids. So if you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, you need to talk to your kids about what do they have a plan? If when something happens to you, what's the plan? What are they gonna do? Do they have the resources necessary to handle that? Do they have the mindset necessary to handle that? That's number one, right? If you're Gen X, like a lot of us right now, or you need to start talking to your kids about that because you may not be there yet, but you're on track to being there. So are they going to have the right mindset? Or that can happen anytime where there's, God forbid, some pass away. And listen, we have a couple $1 million of life insurance. If something happens to us, God forbid, we want to make sure the kids can handle that.
Yeah.
And that's just on that part. I include investment, I include everything else, the real estate and things like that. So this is why it is so important, right? It's so important to have those conversations with our kids. So we want to bring this topic is it kind of encapsulates everything we talk about so far with with the education, financial wellness, all these different things. So important to have that. So those conversations need to be had all the time because the wall of wealth is there and it's coming. And right now we want to make sure that whatever is built, they talk about, for example, that can be lost. What someone take 20, 10, 20, 30, 40 years to build can be gone in 1 year or 2 years. 1 year or 2 years. Because of lack of conversations, lack of education. You have to have those conversations. You have to have education. That needs to happen. If you're a parent, if you plan to leave a dime to your kids, you need to have a talk with them. I don't care if they're grown. Have a conversation with them. Have a conversation with them. Listen, what's the plan? You need to sit down with this person. Sit down with that. You need to have a plan. You can't say, oh, they're grown. No, you don't know. You got to have conversations with them.
Yeah.
That's so important. And us, as we have kids, we need to have a conversation with them also. Us, our demographic, right, Liz? We need to have a conversation with our kids too. That's important for us to have that.
Yes. And I like what Eileen's saying. So they should contact you for more opportunities, career opportunities, so that you can become a financial advisor. Because as the silver tsunamis leaving us, these men that are full of knowledge leave us, we need a new wave of men and women to come in as advisors as well.
Absolutely. It is so, the market is wide open, right? It literally is wide open right now. So this is the great, and listen, I'm 54 and I'm one of those, I'm not Silver Fox yet, but I got 1 more year to get there, right? But I still have energy. I still plan on servicing for the next 10, as long as God willing, next 10, 15 years, 20 years. But that's also why we're developing a new agent so we can actually service it. And doctor with the right mindset, So as I get older, they have the kids will be able to take care of certain things, you know?
Yes, yes. Jen says she'll just send you her boys
Yeah,
and here's your one phone so you can take it.
absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
funny. That's so wild. I love this so much. This was such a great, it was so different. I didn't think that that's where you were going to be coming in from, where not only do we want to have a financial advisor, but the importance of and the opportunity that we have to even be a part of this career, a part of this trait where we're able to help others and teach others. And you opened our eyes to understand that we need to teach our kids. We need to let them know these kids don't know what stocks and bonds are. You know, they don't, that's not, they're all about crypto and what's the other one? Like Bitcoin, like that's their language. That's their language. So how are we going to come on in? I love you. You nailed it. You nailed it with sharing all that information. If you have any questions or if you're interested in getting to know more about this, please email him. His email is scrolling below. Send him an email. And heck, even if it's just to say, I love your podcast.
Yes.
Man, do we learn a lot. Man, do we learn a lot. Send a message, share this on your social media platforms, comment, like, all the things, so that way we stay in the algorithm of the Facebook and all the other platforms. This is great. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Exact same time, guys. There's going to be another fantastic topic. We hope that you enjoy this, and we'll see you again soon.
See you
soon.
All
right,
Professor. Have a great week, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition, and until then, keep building your empire.